What is going on, guys? I hope everybody has had a great and fantastic week so far. It's been a hot one here in South Carolina. Hopefully, it's been a little bit cooler where you guys are. Got a couple of good things lined up for tonight. We're going to be talking mainly about beach hunting tonight, and we're going to look at some different metal detectors. We're going to talk about some accessories, those types of things. We are going to talk about the Xtrem Hunter. They released a little more info today and a couple of days ago, so we're going to be looking at that. So that's pretty much what we're going to be looking at tonight. So let's give a couple of shout outs real quick. Hi, Fred. As always, thanks for being in here, my friend. NC Relic Hunter, my main man, Michael Coley. Thank you. Sniff It Out. Glad to have you in here. Relic Jedi. Glad to have you in here as well. Let's see. Dirt Devil Detecting. Always a pleasure to have you here, sir. Chris as well. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anybody. My man, Surfside Dan. And Dan might rely on you for a little bit of extra information while we're talking beach hunting tonight. Dan is an excellent beach hunter and has a lot of information that he can share with us as well. 662 Outdoor Adventures, thank you for being here tonight. Making sure I don't miss anybody. Kat Osborne, glad to have you in here. And let's see who else. Old Dominion Metal Detecting, glad to have you in here, buddy. Always. Sonny Coley, glad to have you in here, Sonny. Relics and Rings, all right. Glad to have you here, buddy. James Letner, glad to have you. Dwayne Cron, glad to have you. Chris, and I think I've got everybody. I think I've given all the shout outs. We got 22 people on board. And was the reason why I was running a little bit late. I was trying to pull up my pictures, and for some reason my screen, I had to unhook everything the last time I was at my dad's, and my screen is not sharing. So we're going to have to do this a little bit different than what I had originally planned, but I think this will still work. So what I wanted to do is, and normally I put the whole screen up there so you guys can see the pictures, but I'm going to have to do this. I guess I'm going to have to do it via my phone, but it'll work. So we got a couple of people on here, Todd Wendell, and we had Dwayne, who actually shared a couple of their finds. So I want to show some of their finds to start our program off tonight, and show you some of the neat things that they have found and have shared with me to share on the program. So I'm going to pull those up, and I'm going to show y'all these finds. So Todd Wendling, I'm sorry, Todd, and it's Relic. I think he's under Relic DJ or JD, I think. Susan's East Coast Steve's, glad to have you in here tonight. And we're going to show this on here. We can pull it up here real quick. And so there we go. And I know that's hard to see on my phone, but again, it's an 1839 and an 1840 seated Liberty coin. And Todd also sent me a Dragoon button and an infantry button from the Civil War. And then Dwayne was nice enough to send his ring find, which was really neat. I think it says December 25th, 1893, I think was the date inscribed on the inside of this ring. And I think Dwayne said it was an 18 karat ring, Dwayne? 18 karat ring. And that's a really cool find. All those finds are really cool. Love seated Liberties. Love seeing those gold rings like that, especially with one with the date. And what was so unique about that ring was it was December 25th, 1893. Yeah, double seated. He got sat down twice. That's really cool. And then the ring, I said the ring is just, that was a phenomenal find by Dwayne. Again, I did have it set up to show on my screen, and for some reason my screen sharing is not working tonight, and so I did it on my phone. So, but anyway, show you guys those guys' finds, which are really cool. And I appreciated them sharing those finds with me and allowing me to be able to show them on the live stream. So there we go. Todd Wendling and Dwayne shared those with us. So give those guys a shout out because they are on here tonight. And well, congratulations. Those are some awesome finds. Definitely some awesome finds. So the other thing that I did today was I posted on YouTube, I posted a poll. And the poll was asking, which I thought was really interesting. The poll was asking about the machines that people are using on the saltwater beach. So how many of you were able to respond to the poll that was on YouTube? Hopefully you've done that. If you haven't, you can still go over there and do it. And but I wanted to give the most accurate information, up-to-date information so far. And the information was this. So you had a choice. You could pick the XP Deus II. You could pick the Minelab Equinox 600, 700, 800, 900. You could pick the Minelab Manicore, the Minelab Xterra Pro. Of course, it only gives me 4 options. I probably could have come up with more. Like I would probably like to include the Excalibur and then maybe some other machines maybe that people are still using out there. But just to show you the results so far, these are the results from 34 votes, okay? So you guys look, and I'm trying to get this thing to hone in. Let's see if it'll focus. There we go. XP Deus II's at 56%. Minelab Equinox 600, 700, 800, 900 at 15%. Minelab Manicore at 9%. The Not to Legend at 15%. So Not to Legend and the Equinox tied. And then the Xterra was at 6%. So there you go. That was our poll. So I really found it interesting that, and I know there are a lot of people that use the Equinox on the beach, but I really found it interesting that the Legend and the Equinox were tied. What do you guys think about that? I mean, I would have really thought that the Equinox would have done a little better. But I'm going to tell you my feeling a little bit on that in just a few minutes. But the Equinox and Legend tied, based on 34 votes. Now that could change. Other people could go in and vote later on. But that's really interesting. The Xterra at 6%. And we're going to talk about the Xterra tonight too. And of course, the Deus II wins out. And the Deus II is just such a strong machine. And we all know that. It's good on the beach. It's good for relic hunting. It's good. It's just a good all-around machine. So it's number one as far as our poll goes. And we'll see if that changes any. And if it does, then I might share some of that information as it changes. Yes, please hit that like button. Hit the, if you're not a follower, you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I appreciate that. Again, we're going to share some information. I'm going to show you some things tonight, some things that you might be interested in as far as maybe upping your beach game. We're going to talk about some of the things that I do, some of the things that some other people do on here as well, as far as beach hunting goes. So let's get into a Dirt Devil Detecting says, I got a few relics. Okay. And we're going to get to some comments. So he says, I got a few relics I need some help identifying. Send them to me. We'll throw them up here. There's going to be somebody on our channel that is going to be able to help you identify them. So send them to me. I'll be glad to take a look at them. You can send them to my email at Walkamaw Artifact Recovery at Gmail. I'm going to go ahead and put that up there. And that's for any of you guys that want to send me your finds. And hopefully next week I will have, I'll have my screen share back up. But again, if you want to send me your finds, or send me something to help you identify and you want to share it with the group. That's sort of how I want to begin each show. Again, I want the show to be about you guys and basically all of us sharing information, sharing our finds, talking about our experiences, and so on. So shoot me an email if you got a find you want identified. If you got a great find that you've had recently, love to share that. Just make sure you put your name. Give me a little bit of specs about where you found it, what machine you were using. That would be great. And send them to my email. I put it there in the chat, and I'll be glad to try to get that up on our next show too. So love sharing you guys finds and information on here, and you guys know that. So shoot that to my email. Love to share some of those things with you guys. So again, Surfside Dan says that he sees more mine labs than any other machine on Myrtle Beach. And I'm with Dan. I have Equinox, people that come on here. A lot of you are XP Deus II users, as am I. But, you know, there are a lot of good machines out there. And we've had this conversation before. And, you know, not everybody is a Deus II user that comes on the channel. But it's very, very good to see, you know, that there are, you know, those other machines that are out there that, you know, people are using. And, you know, they're all at different price points too for people. So, again, you know, interesting stuff. But I think Mine Lab has definitely ruled the beach for a while. They had the Excalibur, then the Equinox. But the Deus II, just a really special machine for sure. Hi, Fred. That poll is on YouTube. It's if you go to my channel and go under the community, then it's in my community, and you should be able to find it there. But if you go to my channel directly, you should be able to find it, and you can cast your vote since you didn't get a chance to. But I think I know what your vote is going to be on, Fred. But thank you so much. Savannah Harp says, I have seen quite a few Manicores on the beach recently. And I think with the arrival of some of these Manicores finally getting to their destinations, I think we are going to see some more Manicore machines. I have not been seeing a lot of Manicores. I'm still seeing a lot of Equinox machines. You know, I have not seen an Xterra other than my own, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But it looks like the Equinox machines definitely are, you know, still a bunch of them out on the beach. The Deus II, of course, all you got to do, and I'm on all social media platforms. All you got to do is go on social media. You can tell what's going on, and you can see that the Deus II is dominating the market, is what it looks like from everything that I see on these social media channels. It's like everybody and their brothers swinging a Deus II, which is, you know, that's good for them because it's just a great machine, no question about it. Surfside Dan says, I'm glad I don't see a lot of Deus IIs in Myrtle Beach because that is my go-to machine for the beach and relic hunting. Yeah, and Dan and I definitely love our Deus IIs. And but again, guys, there's so many good machines out there. You could take any of these machines, and that's the reason why I wanted to do this show tonight, is because you could take any of those machines and you can go down to that beach and you're going to find some good stuff. You can definitely do it with those machines. And again, this show is going to be dedicated to some of those different machines. It's basically going to be the ones that I have in my hands, but we're going to talk about some of those different machines and share some of our knowledge and information with everybody on here. And, you know, maybe somebody, you know, is interested in that machine. Maybe they're looking for an accessory for that machine. Just some things that I wanted to go over tonight and talk about some of the things that I've recently purchased for these machines to use down at the beach and using the water. So I'm looking forward to that. So let's just start with the Deus II. So a lot of you, and here's my Deus II. And of course, I've got my antenna on. I don't have my case on. And I have recently, thanks to some friendly donors, I have recently gotten a pair of bone conduction headphones that I have used out on the beach, and I've used, getting in the water and dunking my head. And these things are awesome. If you don't have a pair and you're a person that loves to get in the water, these things are loud. And the pair that I had before were they were damaged, and I couldn't get them to work the way that I like them to. But if you're planning on getting in the water and you want a pair of good waterproof headphones, the bone conduction headphones, they just simply go around your head and around your ears, and they basically sit right on your cheekbone almost. And that's sort of showing you, knocking everything down. But they'll sit right on the side of your face, and they are, they are super, super loud. And if you're a person that is going to be getting in the water, you're going to get in the surf. These are excellent to have. You don't have to worry about, not hearing them. I promise you. And I think Dan can attest to that too. Yeah, North Carolina Relic Hunter can attest to it. I was using them, just sort of showing them in my house, and he could hear them over the telephone when I was talking to him. But the bone conduction headphones are really, really, really nice. And again, a lot of people have been doing some unique things with the antenna. I've just basically just got mine wrapped around there for the most part, and got it attached. Some people have run it inside of the shaft. And we've done a couple of things with it to sort of modify it to make it where it's going to be great for swinging in the water. Now, Dan and I were having a conversation today about the Deus II, and Dan was talking about, I was asking Dan what coil he would recommend. So for you guys that are beach hunters, which coil do you use in the water, or you would use in the surf? And I'm interested to see what you guys say, but I've used the 11 and I've used the 9, but which ones do you guys prefer in the water? David Frazier says the 9. Says the 9. Okay, David, I'm with you on that. Chris says 9. Very good. Now, Dan brought up a good point, and I guess, I've always used the 11 and the 13 down on the beach more so than the 9. But Dan brought up a good point, saying that the 9 definitely cuts through the water a lot better when you're out in the surf and doing some water hunting. So the 9 is probably the way to go in the water, and you can just flip it over into that dive program and off you go. So the 9 definitely seems like the one that a lot of people like. But Savannah Harps is on here, and he's saying, how you doing, Savannah? Glad to have you on here tonight. Savannah's saying that he prefers the 11. I've always used the 11 on the beach, but Dan did bring up a good point that 9 does tend to cut through the water a little better. Savannah, do you have a hard time swinging the 11 in the water when it gets, does it feel like it's just resisting when you're moving it back and forth? Real curious to see. David says, I don't even use the 11 anymore. He says it does. David, I'm going to tell you, and I think we've had this conversation, but I think you're more of a beach hunter anyway, but it's nice to have that 11 to go back over sites after you've hunted it with the 9 for relic hunting. So keep that in mind, that 11 still has a very good purpose for it. And you'll find that there will be some things that you've missed with that 9 that the 11 will hit, and same way with the 13 as well. So again, keep those things in mind. But the 9 is definitely seems like the one that everybody is really talking about. So Dirt Devil Detecting says, trying the 9 tomorrow, been using the 11 up till this time. Right. And that's why we do these shows, guys, is because, again, we're sharing information. We're trying to get as much out there as we can. So Susan's East Coast. Okay. All right, Susan. Glad to have you in here tonight, too. Appreciate you being here. Jeremy Duty says he uses 11 but bought a bigger scoop. There you go. And that's the other question. I use the CKG, and I don't have it in here with me, but the CKG with the carbon graphite shaft, I like it a lot. It's collapsible. I can fold it up and take it with me. I know Dan uses a titanium scoop with a carbon graphite shaft, and boy, that thing is super light. And but again, I like the CKG. That's what I've been using ever since I've been beach hunting for the most part. Savannah Harp says, depends on where in the surf wash. Yes, difficult to work it, but in water knee deep or deeper, not as, yeah, right. Yeah. If you get a little bit deeper, then yeah, that 9 inch is probably going to be a little better choice, as far as swinging in the water. So thank you, Savannah, for sharing that. I appreciate that. Wisco Detect says, I have nothing to compare it to, but I love my 11 inch and I can swing it just fine in the water. There you go. Well, you got the lakes up there, Wisco, I'm sure. So you could probably take it in the lakes and swing it. Dwayne Cron says, Steve's carbon fiber detector rod and 11-inch coil. Very good. Yeah, and I like that carbon fiber shaft. When I was at Dick Stock back in March, I saw that shaft in person. Really impressive. The guy had a counterweight on it too. Which was Ricky Bennett, who I don't think he's in here tonight, but he had the counterweight on it, but it felt good swinging it, definitely. Savannah Harp says, last year with the Deus II, I took the coil cover off, and it was like night and day. Wow. Okay. Very good. Very good. Make It Work says 9 is my go-to for land. Definitely. I love the 9. The 9 has always been my go-to as well. Savannah says, once you take that coil cover off, he says it's so much easier to swing. Good. Thank you, Savannah. David Frazier says, other coils seem heavy after using the 9. That's the truth. You get used to that 9, and then once you get used to it, it's just like, you're hooked. And I love the 9-inch coil as well. Coob with Steve's Detectors rods, carbon fiber shaft. Very good. Yeah, a lot of people I do not have one of those shafts, but a lot of people love them. I know the people that I do know that do have them swear by them, and they seem like they're a very, very, very good shaft. North Carolina Relic Hunter says, I bought an extreme scoop from Savannah Harps, and I love it. Yeah, and I hear a lot of people with the extreme scoop, Motley scoops. I held one of those for the first time in my hands the other day. Does anybody use Motley scoops, sand scoops in here? The one thing that I noticed right off the bat was that thing was heavy. Now, really well made, you could tell, but it was a heavy feeling scoop. And they probably make a lighter version than the one I was holding. But heavy scoop, really well made, but definitely pretty cool. And they came in different covers. James Bazell says, if the coil cover is not used, does that void the warranty? That's a good question. That's a good question, James. I do not know the answer to that. I do not. But that's something you better check into. Savannah, you might better check into that too if something were to happen. But the coil cover definitely gives you protection. But that thing should be sealed to where you're not getting any water or any dirt inside of that coil. So again, so we talked about the XP Deus II. And again, mine is set up right now for water hunting, and I plan on going out in the morning and using it. So yeah, the Deus II, I definitely highly recommend if you don't have those and you are going to be getting in the water, and especially if you're going to dunk your head or anything like that, the bone conduction headphones are a great way to go. Now you can use your regular headphones, but again, they're not waterproof to a certain extent. So keep that in mind if you are going to use the regular headphones, the WSAs or the WSA 2XLs. So keep that in mind if you are going to use that. So Surfside Dan says, we still need a pouch with a waterproof pocket for his keys. Well, most of us have those keys with the remote on them now, Dan, so that can be aggravating. But yeah, you could put a key in it. So definitely. Dwayne says that he uses a T-Rex scoop in the river. It takes a lot of abuse. Okay, yeah. definitely. Yeah, Savannah Harp says warranty is void, but the fines are more important. Yeah, I would think if you took the cover off, that's what I was going to say. But, you know, hey, to each his own. Savannah says it works great. It feels better without the cover on it. So nice. David Frazier says nice arm cuff pad. Yeah, and I had the guy's email on here, and I can put that up again for the cuff pad if any of you guys are interested in the Deus II arm cuff pad that I have on there. Chris says that he uses the CKG on the beach in my heavier scoop in the water. Okay, very good, Chris. Wisco Detect says, are you not afraid that if you take off, you're going to damage the coil? I mean, you run the risk. I mean, that's why it's got a cover on it, is to keep it protected. But Savannah's saying that it swings a little better without that cover on there in the water. So again, you know, he's an avid beach hunter, and he hunts way more on the beach than I do. So I'll take his word for it for sure. Savannah says on the beach, the epoxy bottom of the Deus II coil is very tough. And he's correct. What's up, Mad Max? Thank you for being here tonight. Appreciate you guys. Thank y'all for being here. New Hampshire Metal, Beach Metal Detecting. He says he uses a spade shovel up here in New England. Lots of rocks and old stuff is underneath them. Yeah, I can't imagine what that would be like hunting in all those rocks on the. So I get that 100% for sure. Okay, yeah, I'll put that Northwest Outdoors. I'll put that link back up for the arm pad. So once the video's over with, check out the description, and you can. I'll have the link on there, or the email address. You can email the guy, and he can get you one of these arm cuff pads. So yeah, I love the arm. In fact, North Carolina, Michael Coley, he's the one who hooked me up with this arm pad, and I love it. It just feels so much better on your arm for sure. Hey, Bobby, glad to have you in here. Nice to have you. Loving all these answers. You guys are doing awesome. Carson Chris says, I use a Cyto scoop with a carbon fiber travel rod. Yeah, my carbon fiber breaks apart too for my CKG, and I love that for sure. Ohio Fred says, questions, is lower shaft on Deus II WS6 Master Kit different than the Deus II lower shaft? Asking because I've seen some deals on 11-inch with lower shaft dealers. If you buy the 11-inch, I know that the WS6 came with a S-cope shaft. So that one is, I don't know that it's made of aluminum or not. I want to say it's plastic, but the lower part I believe is aluminum. Upper part is made of plastic, if I'm not mistaken. I have to check into that, Ohio Fred, but that's a great question. But I think I'm right on that. Yeah, 662 says that was a nice looking arm pad. It would be unrecognizable and covered in mud. Well, mine's dirty, believe it or not. I mean, it was pretty and red and shiny, but this camera makes it look really, really good looking at it like that. But I'll put the guy's email on there. You guys can email him. I know he'd appreciate being able to get some of those out to some of you guys. Yes, and since we're on it, y'all see the little stand here? That was from Dirt Devil Detecting, who's on here tonight. He actually made that and sent that to me. So you can definitely get in touch with him if you're interested in the stand. And this works really great too when you set it down on the ground or set it down on the beach. But Dirt Devil Detecting got me this really nice, high quality plastic there. You don't have to worry about it breaking, but he did an excellent job on that stand as well. Yes, yeah, Dirt Devil, North Carolina Relic Hunter says, yeah, that's a nice stand. He loves it. Glad he got that. Cat Osborne says the lower shaft is plastic, upper shaft is aluminum. Yeah, I couldn't remember. I remembered that one of them was, and I'm looking at mine right now. But of course, this is the regular one. So let me look at my WS6 real quick. I've got it back here. Let's look at that. Yes, the upper shaft, I got both of them right here. Upper shaft is aluminum. So I've got two WS6s here with WSA 2XL headphones. 9-inch coil, 13-inch coil, and these are my babies. Love the WS6, and it is a excellent machine out on the beach. And that's one too that of course, I should have listed on there, but of course, most of you that would have said it would have been XP Deus II users. So there you go. All right, so we looked at the Deus II, and I told you guys about the bone conduction headphones, and you can get those from any local dealer. I use Detecting Clay. If any of you guys want to, I'll put the link up for Clay. If you're interested in ordering a pair of bone conduction headphones, you can get those for your XP unit, and they work great. And they're really not that expensive, but really, really nice. So with that being said, let's look at the legend. Okay. So here's the legend. And I've got it fully collapsed, and you still see it still got some sand on it. I'll tell you, I dug a gold earring, and you can go on my channel and check it out. 14 karat gold earring that I think it was Wednesday or Thursday or Tuesday with the legend. This thing really performs really, really well in the salt water. And I think you see a lot of people using this more and more on the beach. But the legend has been, it's a good machine. You know, for $4.99 or $5.99 with the wireless headphones and the carbon fiber shaft and all the features you get with this machine, it's a really good machine. And I enjoyed swinging it the other day, and I found a lot of stuff, and it runs very stable in the wet salt sand. So I enjoy it. I like it a lot. And an accessory that I bought for the legend just recently is I invested in a pair of Not the Macro waterproof headphones. So very, very nice. They sound really good, and boy, they got good noise cancellation out on them too. But the Nocta headphones, if you're going to be doing any water hunting and you're going to be using the legend, then it's a great accessory to add to your machine. I was using the 11-inch coil the other day. I do have the LG 30 and the LG 24, but I was using the 11-inch coil in the water, and it worked really nice, guys. I mean, it really performed really, really well, and it runs stable. And for $4.99 or $599, not a bad machine at a pretty economical price as well. I'm trying to get to some of these questions. Carson Chris says, is the 13-inch coil deeper than the 11-inch coil? And that's a common question. I really, honestly, from what I've seen out on the beach, I really don't think there's that much difference. Maybe a half inch, maybe. But the coverage you get from the 13-inch coil makes up for a lot. Just like what I said earlier when we were talking about the 9-inch and the 11-inch and the 13-inch coils, relic hunting, the same thing applies out on the beach. You got more coverage area, which could mean that, you know, you miss something with the 11 that you would get with the 13. But the 11-inch coil is a deep coil too by itself. So if you got the 11, unless you're really going to be hunting the beach a lot, and you've got a lot of large areas of ground to cover, then, you know, you're still going to probably get the same depth or close to the same depth with the 11 versus the 13. At least that's what I've seen. Now, I do think it might have just maybe a half inch, maybe, is what I'm guessing, but it could be a little bit deeper, and it depends on the soil. But remember, my soil is very, very mild. So the 13-inch coil in mild soil is going to hit really, really deep. The 11-inch coil in my soil is going to hit very, very deep. I love all three of the coils. I've talked and I've bragged about the 13, especially relic hunting. It did fantastic. It unmasked very well. The 11-inch unmasked very well. And of course, the 9-inch unmasks very well. And they all have their benefits. So you just got to decide, you know, what's going to work for you and what types of sites and what types of hunting you're going to be doing to decide which one of those coils you want. So again, I appreciate that question. Thank you so much, Carson Chris. Surfside Dan says, I think you should use it on Monday. You mean the Legend, Dan? Is that what you're talking about? I would use the Legend. I'm serious. It's a pretty good machine. Terry Greenway says, Brian, with all that stuff you have, I should have been a history teacher instead of a maintenance technician. Well, look, some of the, and I'll be honest, some of this stuff was sent to me. I'm always clear about that. And I love showing these machines off. I love using them. I love trying them out. I love showing them to you guys because it just, it helps everybody out. And like I said, guys, we live in such a great time with so many excellent machines that are deep, that can separate, that can hunt on the beach. We've got so many options. And some of these companies have been nice enough to send me some of these things to show and display out on the beach, relic hunting, and so on. So the Legend was sent to me, and of course the XP machines were sent to me. But I love those machines. They're excellent machines. And again, like I said, you're the ones who have to make those machines work. It's not necessarily the machine all the time. It's the person using them. How much you learn on that machine, how you use that machine, where you use that machine. All of those are things that are involved with any of these. So I love showing these things off and getting those things to you guys so you can see that. So Mad Max says, I'm going after the Manicore. Yeah, and the Manicore is a good machine. Surfside Dan has the Manicore. He's hunted with it on the beach. It's plenty deep. I know that. I still think they've got a little bit of issue with still with the iron. Even with the update, I'm still hearing some reports of some issues with it. But the Manicore is a great machine. MindLab has done a good job. The screen, the user interface on that machine, the audio on that machine, all of those things are really, really good. So the Manicore is definitely one to keep an eye out on, definitely for sure. So Stick Ass Cat, glad to have you in here tonight. Hey Brian, what is your favorite coil on the Legend? Well, I've tried the LG30 and I've got it over here as well. And I still think that I prefer the 11-inch. The LG30 does feel a little bit lighter, believe it or not, even though it's a bigger coil. But I still think I like the 11-inch better. And I have tried the LG24, which is their small 5x9 coil. I really liked it a lot. It's a nice little coil, especially for hunting in the heavy iron and maybe trying to get in between some crooks and nanny, some hard spots. Then you can definitely go in there with that LG24 and do the work. But I like the 11-inch so far. And it's done very well. And most of the people that I have seen have been using the 11 more so than the LG30. But and I do have, and by the way, I do have the new setup for the Legend too. I have the carbon graphite upper and lower on this machine, and I have the new arm cuff as well, which makes it really light. And a lot of people that were using the Legend, the one thing that was a knock on it was that it feels heavy, and it does feel a little heavy, but since they've added that carbon graphite shaft to it, I think it has taken a considerable weight off of it. And I swung it earlier on when it was first released, and then I got this one and I've used it, and I love the carbon graphite shaft. I think that's definitely changed the weight and the arm cuff. I think all of that has changed this machine. So the Legend, definitely a machine that performs excellent on the beach. So if you're looking for a sort of middle of the road beach machine, I highly recommend the Legend. $499, $599. You can't beat it. I mean, and all the features you got the backlight, you got the LED light on it, you got the vibrating handle, You got the tone adjustments. You've got salt stability. You've got iron reject on it. You've got all of those things that you see in all these upper tier machines. And for $499 and $599, it's not a bad deal at all. And I would highly recommend it if you're looking for a machine that's middle of the road, that is going to perform really well for you out on the beach. It's right up there, in my opinion. So Ricky Bennett, hey Ricky, glad to have you in here. The 12x9, yes, and I love the 12x9, and I've just got through singing its praises just a minute ago. Just an excellent coil as well. Dirt Devil Detecting says my favorite coil in the Legend is the LG24 in trash, right? And I've only used the LG24 once, and I liked it a lot. I need to use it some more. So when it gets cool again, I'm definitely going to take it into some other sites and check those sites out. But I like the 11. I got the LG30 to cover more ground out on the beach if I needed it. And I've got the LG24, and I've got the 6-inch, the little round 6-inch puck too, but I had not used that coil yet with this machine. But great machine. And again, we're talking about beach machines today, but the Legend on the beach, also a great machine for its price. You're getting a lot of really cool features and a lot of neat things that you can do with that machine for sure. So how many of you on here have a Legend? I'm curious. Seen a couple of people said that they have them. So definitely. So I'm looking on here. Relics and Rings says the Manicore update had some issues in his soul. Jeremy Duty, I'm going through the comments right now. I turned my WS6 into another machine. I used the 9-inch coil. I put a string on the WS6 and it hangs around my neck like a stopwatch. Yes. And Michael Coley and I have both invested in, if you haven't done this for your WS6 and you want to hook it up to where you can take your WS6 off of the stem, or if you have the WSA headphones with the puck, you can take that puck off. But if you do that, you're going to want to get this. And if you guys have never seen this before, this is the audio jack for the 3.5 millimeter headphones that you can plug into it. So this basically slides on the back of your WSA 2s and your WS6, and it turns it into where you can take that and put it into like a little pouch. You can hang it around your neck, and you can hook another set of headphones, like a little set of earplugs to it, and you can use it once you have this audio jack for it with the 3.5 millimeter jack on it. So that's a great way. Thank you for sharing that, Jeremy, because that's something that I wanted to bring up too. So there you go. So check that out. If you don't have one and you have WSAs or WS6s and you want to take it off the stem, maybe hang it around your neck, you can do that, and then hook up a little small pair of earbuds. You can plug any headphones you want to into it using this 3.5 millimeter jack. Dirt Devil Detecting says, what's your opinion of that, Savannah? You use the Manicore a lot. And I don't know if he's still on here. So, but if he is, Savannah, you can answer that. I know he's been using the Manicore. Of course, Dan's using the Deus II. I'm using the Deus II mainly out on the beach. But the Manicore definitely is a good machine on the beach too as well. Stink Ass Cat says he has the 11-inch. Okay, very good. There you go. He says, hey, NC Relic Hunter. He's telling you, hey, Michael. Detector 2 guns. He says, XP Deus II 9-inch, Equinox 800 6-inch coil. Those are some good machines to have for sure. Yes, please hit that like button. I'm trying to share as much as I can. We've been on, God, it doesn't seem like we've been on here for 45 minutes. We've been on here for 45 minutes. But hit that like button. I appreciate it, guys. Thank y'all so much for being here tonight. And going through these beach machines together. So programs, let's talk about that for a minute. We're going to get to the Xterra Pro next. Of course, with the Legend, I was going to say I use multi-wet. Multi-wet just runs more stable on the beach using the Legend. And then, of course, for the Deus II, I've always used beach sensitive. When I get in the water, in the salt water, I'm using dive. I still use a lot of the same stuff that I use on land. I still use high square. I use pitch. So those are my pretty much go-to, and then adjust everything else accordingly. What about you guys? What are you using on the beach with your Deus II? And what are you using if you have the Legend on the beach? Let's share some of that information, and let's see what most people are coming up with. Yeah, Detector Gun says yes. Yeah, everything does feel heavy, I have to admit. And it takes me a while to get used to swinging some of these other machines after swinging the Deus II, because it is lightweight. Hey, BK, glad to have you on here tonight. Yes, the Thresher headphones, I've seen a couple of people using those. I've seen some people using it with the Legend as well. I do not know anything about the Thresher other than I've seen a few people on YouTube using those headphones. Terry Greenway says Mad Max will be playing at Townsend Bluegrass Festival, Gripsburg moment. All right, Terry. So you play bluegrass, Terry. That's awesome, dude. Really awesome. Where's who knows where Sharpshooter is tonight? So 662 says he loves some bluegrass music. Yes. So Stink Ass Cat said, I bought one when they were $500 with the wireless. You did a good job getting it with $500, Stink Ass Cat. That's a great deal. And like I said, man, for the money, I'm telling you, the Legend at that price point is to me is a home run, especially if you're hunting the beach a good bit too. It's just a good all around machine in that mid price range, which that's to me, they've done a great job with it, and they finally got it to where it's a pretty doggone good machine with these updates that they've done to it. Terry Greenway says, hey, may get a Legend, looks pretty good. It is, and it's collapsible. It's got a good look to it. It's got a good feel to it. It's got so many neat features on it, and that's what I like about it so far. Adele says, no Legend, busy with Deus II, Manicore, and Knox 800. Those are some good machines there, Adele. So those are probably the three of the best for sure. So congratulations on those machines. New Hampshire Metal Detector said, had good luck with the Legend, great on gold, right? And, Gigmaster uses the Legend on the beach for those of you that follow Gigmaster. And he swears by it too. And I've got a buddy down here that's using the Legend right now, and he found two beautiful solitaire diamond rings a couple of weeks ago using the Legend. So it is a good beach machine, guys. It really is. Jeremy Duty says he has a Legend. What do you think of it, Jeremy? New Hampshire Metal Detecting says try the Gray Ghost amphibians with the Manicure. Huge difference over the Equinox and CTX 3030. The Gray Ghost headphones are awesome too. I definitely agree. Relics and Rings says his program is Deus II Beach Sensitive, Manicore Beach Deep. Thank you for sharing that, Relics and Rings, for sure. David Frazier says Deus II, he's using Beach Sensitive. Chris says Beach Sensitive. It looks like we're all on the Beach Sensitive track. Beach Sensitive, the 2 times a year I go on the beach. We need to get out there more. But, man, it's hot here. And if the tides don't hit just right, like Dan and I are planning on going together on Monday, but the tides are going to be just about right. Carson Chris says he hunts mainly freshwater and uses sensitive full tones. I don't blame him. You can get away with those land programs in freshwater as well. Make It Work says Deus II, Equinox 900, Equinox 600. Those are some good ones for sure. Make It Work. Sharpshooter Devil, he's out there target practicing. Oh yeah, he's out there getting that gun tuned up right now. So he hasn't been showing much metal detecting stuff lately. Wisco to Texas. I was on the beach today with the Deus II, switched beach to P to full tones, and it was odd. I thought everything was aluminum, but they were coins. Okay, so you went to pitch and full tones. Is that what you're saying? Or you went to full tones and it was odd. You thought everything was aluminum, but they were coins. Yeah, and again, that's why I use high square a little bit. But there's so many signals out there on the beach. Sometimes you're digging. I mean, I hate to say it, but sometimes I'm digging everything in a lot of cases. Not unless if it's below 40, usually I'll start to say I'm not going to mess with it. But 40 on up, I'm digging as much as I can because on that beach you just never know on a lot of those targets for sure. New Hampshire Metal Detecting says beach sensitive, even in the wet, and dive program won't grab the small gold as well. You're right. If you're looking for small gold, beach sensitive, dive is really killer though on really deep targets and bigger gold targets as well. So definitely make it work. How does the Detector 2 gun says, how does the Equinox 900 compare to the 600? So there you go. There's a question for you. Make it work. Surfside Dan says, Deus 2, I use beach sensitive and wet sand. As I move into the water, one push of the button, I'm in dive mode. No false sounds, smooth as can be. And that's right. When you put that dive program and you take the Deus 2 into the water, and it runs really, really well. North Carolina Relic Hunter says the Legend runs pretty quiet on the beach from what he's seen. Yeah, and I've got a video coming up too with the Legend showing it on the beach. You guys can hear it performing out on the beach. Make it work. Here's the answer to your question. Detector 2 guns. 900 is an upgrade. It's faster and it's a little deeper. Very good. Okay, so we've talked about programs. We've talked about what we're using with our beach machines. Some of you shared what you're using with the Manicore. Equinox, did I miss somebody sharing their Equinox program as far as what they're doing on the beach? If you can share that, that would be great. Some other people might be interested in that. I talked about beach sensitive for the Deus 2. I'm using multi-wet on the Legend. So that's what we're doing there as well. So let's look at the Xterra. So for you guys, the $269 little beauty with a 12-inch coil. And so recently I purchased a pair of waterproof earbuds. And man, these things, I'll show y'all the hookup for it. These things work really, really, really well. And I used this out on the beach 2 days ago. And I'll tell you one thing about the Xterra that I can definitely say is that it loves nickels, which is a good sign, because if it loves nickels, then it's going to love the big gold rings. So the Xterra, $269. I paid $55 for the waterproof earbuds with the connector on it, and they sound great. In fact, they noise cancel really well out in the water and at the beach. So I really like those waterproof headphones. I got them off of eBay. And again, I was going to share my screen with you guys, but I'll show y'all the listing for that so you guys can get a good look at that. And but for $55, it's really a no-brainer. If you got the Xterra, then for $55, it's a good one for sure. So let me load this up for you guys so you guys can see it. But there it is. And that's what I bought for the Xterra. They're $55. They're made by Musique. I think is what they call it. The music spelled sort of weird. But they would work with the MindLab Equinox 600 through 900 series, the Mana Core. They're lightweight, plug-in 3.5 millimeter jack, waterproof earbuds. And I paid $55 for them. So they're on eBay. The seller looks like Eileen07. And they got 100% rating. So if you're looking for a pair of waterproof earbuds, then, you know, that's not a bad deal for the Xterra. The Xterra, again, runs, and it only runs in 8 kilohertz, so you can adjust the frequency on it. And it has a wet and a dry that you can use with it. I ran the wet naturally because I was in the water for the wet sand, and it did very, very well. And again, a nice little accessory. The headphones work really, really well, and I like it. I liked it a lot. I think it's, you know, it's pretty quiet for a $269 beach machine, which, you know, that's almost unheard of. Like we talked about whenever it first came out, this machine at $269 and being able to hunt the beach, that's a pretty good deal. Thank you so much, Dwayne, for the donation. All donations, again, go straight back to the channel. Here's the box for the headphones too, in case you guys are interested. And maybe, you know, maybe not for the Xterra, but these would also work with the Equinox 600 through 900 series as well. So again, yes, these earbuds are jam up. Dwayne's exactly right. The earbuds are the way to go during the summer because it gets so hot. And here in South Carolina, the humidity is about 1,000 right now. And so when you get out on that beach, just not to have the big ear cuffs over your ears. Good, and I enjoyed using them. They worked really well. They noise canceled pretty good for earbuds, and it was pretty impressive for sure. So thank you so much, Dwayne. I appreciate that so much. Again, all donations go straight back into the channel. Y'all know recently I bought a drone, and I've been flying it, and I'm hopefully going to have some really good footage coming up with you guys using the drone as well. So all those contributions that some of you have made over the last few months, a lot of that money went into the purchase of that drone. So very, very, very good. And I really appreciate all of the donations from you guys because we had the best community out here, I think. Yes. Wireless buds, yes, for the XP, yes. So, so those are my machines that I wanted to show tonight. Michael's on here. Michael, did I miss anything? Is there something else? Oh, there is something else. We wanted to talk about the Xtreme Hunter. So, how many of you guys got a chance to see the XP video today of the Xtreme Hunter? What were your impressions of that video? And what do you think? I mean, from what you saw in the video, for those of you that have seen it, what do you think about the Xtreme Hunter? Is that something that you know you're thinking about investing? And if you are, you know, where do you plan on using it, and what are you going to use it for? So let's talk about that for just a few minutes before we sign off. But again, Dan and I have talked about using it in sort of tandem with the GPR unit, and we're talking about taking the Xtreme and using it, and maybe trying to identify some of that. So yeah, and they actually showed their new factory, which is really, really cool. In that video, they use a lot of recycled plastic, which I thought was really neat, and they went through all of those things. And we're recognizing some of the dealers, and then they showed targets buried deep in the ground, and they went through different levels of depth, and then they took the Xtreme over each one of those targets, showing that. So definitely. Yes. Yeah. Dirt Devil Tatum says, interesting. Don't think I'd invest until I see you in Calabash. Yeah, I'm really hoping that I'll have one soon. But I don't know when. So, and Calabash is hoping the same thing. He and I talked right before the show started too. So he was asking me about it and if I'd heard anything, and I said no, I haven't. So I'm still waiting on it, but I do have some great sites that I would like to take it over. And I think if there's something there and this thing finds it, that's going to be epic for sure. But I'm real interested in doing that. Um, Surfside Dan said he saw the video and he was really impressed with it. Yeah, and Dan and I again are hopefully gonna work together on some of my sites that I have, and we're gonna try to see if we can maybe pull some things off of those sites. Hi, Fred says he saw Gary's vid today. Think it runs $1,500. Looks nice. The Extreme, yeah. Yeah, it's got a good hefty price tag on it. I think that's maybe going to shy some people away from it. And again, I think it's going to be more of a niche type thing. If you've got a lot of those sites that are going, that machine's going to work well in, like Civil War sites with trash pits, colonial trash pits. Those are going to be the sites that you're mainly looking for. And then there's going to be archaeologists. There's going to be city planners that are probably going to use this. They're probably going to use it to look for graves and that kind of stuff. Law enforcement may even buy some of these things. So I can see a lot of uses for it, as well as the hobby, but also outside of the hobby as well. So Detector 2 Gun says that he had a White's 2-box set up and dug a lot of deep junk. Yeah, and here's the difference though, and we talked about this last time, is that we didn't have the ground stabilization that the Deus II is offering with this machine. And we also didn't have a multi-frequency machine, Detector 2 gun. So I think that's the difference between these and the older 2-box machines. And that's what they're saying. Again, I can't wait to get my hands on one to actually see this thing in action. And we'll go from there. 662 Outdoor Adventure says, I have a site where I think it would be very useful, but like others have said, I'm going to wait and see what y'all think first about it. Yeah, and again, I hope I'll be able to relay that information real soon as it gets cooler and maybe they get this thing out and get it launched. Then hopefully I'll have one in my hands and we're going to be doing that. Thank you, NC Relic Hunter, for the donation again. All those donations just help out the channel. You guys are great. The equipment that I use, the cameras that I use, all of those things go straight back into what we're doing here with our live streams, with my videos out in the field. And I'm looking forward to bringing a lot more content as fall gets here and bringing you guys as much information as I can. Calabash and I have worked on some things. Michael and I, Sharpshooter, all of us, Iffy, who's not on here right now, but all of us sort of talk to each other, and we're going to try to bring as much information in the coming months as we get closer and closer to fall, and it becomes relic season. I love beach season, don't get me wrong, but I'm ready to go out and start running around in the woods looking for relics and looking for old house sites and those types of things. So I can't wait till it gets cool. I'm tired of the heat already, guys. And I know some of you maybe don't have to deal with the heat the way I do, but this heat and humidity here in the South, it can be rough right now. So definitely going to look forward to the fall. Dirt Devil Detecting says, hey, I'll bring the mini excavator. Okay. Yeah, because that thing is pretty deep. And that's what they were using in the video. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen that video, you'll see I think they didn't go 16 feet, but I think they went like 7 feet. I can't remember, but they went pretty deep. And Eastman says, morning beepers. Yes. What's up, Eastman? Glad to have you in here. And all right. Well, guys, we've been on here for an hour and 5 minutes. I really appreciate everyone being here tonight. I apologize. I will get the screen share working, and hopefully I'll have that working for us next time. For some reason, I couldn't get that up. But if you got finds and you want to send those finds to me, and let me share what you guys are doing out there and what you're finding and what machines you're using. So don't forget, you can send that to my email at walkamallartifact@gmail.com. And I love sharing your finds and sharing what you guys are doing out there. So, if you want to shoot me an email, and share me those finds. If you don't want to use the email and you follow me on Facebook or you follow me on Instagram, you can send those finds to any of those other social media platforms or TikTok. You can send me those finds through there too as well. Just tell me who you are. I might know you on here, but I don't know you. I don't know you on some of those other platforms. Just let me know who you are and say, hey, this is North Carolina Relic Hunter. I'm sending you a picture of this, and I found it a few weeks ago. I was using my Deus II. This is the program I was using. The more information you tell me, the more we can talk about it and discuss it. And you can come on here and explain what you were doing and how you found it and what you were using with your machine. So that would be great. Guys, thank you, Carson Chris. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much for the donation. Again, all of these donations just help us out and allow us to keep doing what we're doing. So I appreciate you guys so much. You're welcome, North Carolina Relic Hunter. I appreciate you. Detector 2 Guns, as always. Thank you, guys. Hi, Fred. You're my main man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Everyone, have a great weekend. He says, keep your battery charged. Don't forget your pinpointer. Stay hydrated, guys, because it is hot out there. You guys need to take care of yourselves. And we'll be back next Friday. Hopefully, we'll have some more information and some more things to pass along. Hopefully, some of this beach information was useful to you. Some of the accessories, me showing some of the machines, what I'm actually using on those machines, the waterproof headphones, and then talking about the program. So hopefully that helps someone out as they're getting used to their machines and their beach hunting. And it's going to be relic hunting season real soon. But Dan and I are going out for a beach hunt, so maybe I'll have a video up real soon with Dan and I out hunting. And I'm going to have a legend video coming up with the legend on the beach. So I will have that, and I found a 14 karat gold earring with that. So I'll have that coming too. So stay tuned, more content coming. If you haven't already, please hit that like button one more time before we get off. And check out my other social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. If you're on any of those, check us out there too. A lot of great content over there, shorter versions of stuff, but still it helps me out. So if you guys are on any of those other platforms, go over there and give us a follow over there. I would greatly appreciate it. And again, I appreciate each and every one of you. As always, you guys are the best. This is the best live stream channel out there. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. And I look forward to coming back and sharing my next adventure with you and talking metal detecting. So we will see you guys real soon. Take care and have a great and fantastic weekend. Go find some great stuff. Wish you all the best. God bless.